This story happened after the time of Jesus and before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The story of the collapse of the Dam of Saba. In those days, there was a king of Saba. He was worried because the land was dry and yellow, and the sky was about to bring heavy rain that could flood the country. His minister suggested going on a hunting trip to clear his mind. The king liked the idea and prepared for the journey. After 10 days of traveling, the minister told the king that they were running out of food and water. The king became angry and thought the desert was challenging him. So he called the chief engineer to find a way to make the land green again. The chief engineer suggested building a dam to store rainwater for the people. The king loved the idea and ordered its construction immediately, but the engineer warned, saying, "This will take hundreds of years, and we will not be alive to see it finished." The king was surprised and asked, "What is the use of it then?" The minister explained, "It will help future generations. The desert will turn green." The king agreed, and the dam was built. Many years passed, and the king who planned it was gone. But the people of Saba enjoyed its benefits. The land became full of trees, farms, and fruits, and prosperity spread. But over time, things changed. The kings of Saba became proud and ungrateful. They forgot to thank God for his blessings. One arrogant king was called Mosaica because he tore his silk robe every day, so he would never wear it again. His wife tried to stop him, but he threatened to imprison her. His son was even worse. He had two close friends. One made weapons, and the other made wine. The chief engineer worried because people abandoned farming and focused on drinking and war. But the king was proud of his son and gave his friends important jobs. The minister was a hypocrite. He wanted his daughter to marry the prince for power, but she refused. The chief engineer regretted building the dam because people stopped thanking God. He tried to warn the king, but the king ignored him. The king had two beautiful gardens, one on the right and one on the left. Instead of listening, he left the meeting and walked in the gardens with his corrupt advisors. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور. صدق الله العظيم. On the prince's birthday, he gave horses as gifts to his friends to show off and win support to become the next king. That day, alcohol spread everywhere. At the same time, huge rats appeared in the city. The minister's daughter noticed this and told her father, but he chose not to tell the king. When the king finally heard about the rats, he panicked. His advisors suggested poisoning the rats, but others warned that it would ruin the crops. The king rejected the idea. The prince suggested rewarding anyone who caught a rat with a horse. The advisors loved the idea, but the king refused, saying there weren't enough horses. The queen suggested raising hungry cats to hunt the rats. The king agreed, and the plan worked. The king honored his wife as Lady of Saba and rewarded the cats. One night, the queen had a nightmare. She saw fire burning the land and thunder in the sky. She woke up in fear, believing it was a warning. She ran to warn the king, but on the way, she saw a frog running and turtle digging in the ground. She took this as a bad sign. She told the king, "The water will return, the crops will dry, and the land will become a desert again." The king asked, "How do you know?" She said, "Go to the dam. If you see a rat digging at it, disaster is coming." The king went to the dam alone to prove his wife wrong. He climbed to the top and saw rats carrying away heavy stones. The king was terrified and realized his wife was right. But instead of warning the people, he told no one. He returned to the queen, and she gave him a glass bottle. When he looked inside, it filled with sand. She said, "The dam will collapse in 7 years." The king sold all his palaces at half price to take the money and leave before the flood. The king decided to store food and prepare. 7 years later, the dam collapsed and a massive flood destroyed the kingdom. The flood washed away the kingdom. Some people died, some survived, but the king and his family were swallowed by the plague airs. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فأعرضوا فأرسلنا عليهم سيل العرم وبدلناهم بجنتيهم جنتين ذواتي أكل خمط وأصل وشيء من سدر قليل ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور. صدق الله العظيم. The story of Saba is a lesson for all time. When people become arrogant and forget to thank God, their blessings may be taken away. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest content.